Ladies and gentlemen, welcome. Today we'll talk about the global view of Bitcoin and the short-term perspective. I must say from the beginning that long-term we're very bullish and short-term we are kind of a little bit bearish. I will tell you the details about the latter one in the end of the video, and I will start from the global view because I think it's most important one. Here on this chart I just want to show you the similarity between gold and Bitcoin. Gold time frame of course is much longer, but the behavior you see is very similar despite of that, especially if you look at the recovery after the bottom from both, and you see all of the pattern which we see in gold, they also present on Bitcoin, and the latter one, the latter correction, is also very similar. You can actually find almost identical behavior in terms of the highs and lows, of course with some similarities. As I wrote in this tweet, history doesn't repeat itself, but definitely it rhymes. So based on this similarity, I would say that we must see some decrease short term, maybe not lower than the previous low, as well as in gold, and then go a little bit sideways, up and down maybe, and then make finally the breakout to the upside. I don't want to say that there's like the same algorithms or some magical hand driving price in Bitcoin the same way as gold, but it's just the game of supply and demand, and apparently there were people trading it here and there are people trading Bitcoin as well here, so it's not very surprising that we will see something similar. Another thing which is also very important in my opinion, a couple of videos ago we were talking about the divergences and how to calculate them with RSI and price, and I didn't show you this. This is 1 week chart, and of course the longer time frame you look at, the stronger signals it gives you. So here, if you look at 2017 when we saw some kind of rise similar to what we have now, with those corrections we had 3 cases, guys, 3 cases when the price is going high, so it's showing higher lows, but RSI is making a lower low, which is a hidden bullish divergence 3 times. Every time we had this, there was a following rise in price from 112% to like 230%, and we'd never had the decrease in price after that, lower than the previous low. Exactly the same picture we're observing right now. On the weekly time frame we had 2 lows over here, and the latter one is higher, and 2 lows on RSI, and the latter one is lower. So from that point you would expect RSI is going high again, maybe something like this with some sideways movement, but then eventually RSI will go higher, price will go higher. If you'll follow the same trend from 100 to 200+% rise, if you'll actually calculate it from the current condition in Bitcoin, then you would see it's from $19,000 to $30,000. That would be the next high of the rise before the significant correction. I would say that 30k is maybe a bit of a stretch, but 19k, it's not that crazy. 18, we also were looking at that before. This is one of the targets which we're considering with the other global channels and trends which we had in price so far. But one way or another, I think it's very important to have it in mind, and I would give it a very high chance to play out. Alright, now let's talk about the short-term situation. This triangle was finally broken to the downside. The way it actually plotted is a bit of ridiculous, so we waited until the very apex of this triangle. The volume was very low, also it's a weekend, order books are very thin, so all of that move seemed more like the hunt for the liquidity, for the volume down here, and especially if you'll compare, let's say this is Bitstamp, and on other exchanges you had the similar situation when this low was pretty much at the same position as this low. However, on BitMEX this low was actually lower than the previous low, which would add additional stop orders triggering and some liquidation for other long orders at this point. So the situation right now is a bit uncertain, and some people are looking at this formation as a potential bearish flag with the goal somewhere at $10,700, $800. Others will look at the gap on CME over here, and the gap which is actually forming right now from $12,000 to whatever the price will be when the CME will be open next Monday. So you may expect the price is closing this gap and then another gap, which is not exactly which I believe at, but still people are paying attention to these things. But speaking about reasonable expectation, as you remember, we're looking at these two channels which are kind of intersecting in this area, and we're expecting that probably the descending channel still will hold, and this is what happened. So the price entered this triangular area as we expected, so probably it will hover around the same level for a while. Maybe it will actually go test the bottom of the ascending trend line, but in general we have like 3-4 weeks for this price action to develop until the end of this intersection, and I still will stick with my initial expectation for the move to the upside when this descending channel will be broken. So far though, short term, as we had this manipulative move to the downside, we have two possible scenarios. The one scenario, which I would consider to be another manipulative move to the upside, which is similar to the one which we had over here. So we had the liquidity collection when the price moved below previous lows, and now we have the possible move to the upside, in principle to the same level as we were before at, and it is reasonable because a lot of people expect the move to the downside even more, and this is one possible scenario. So in my opinion, if the price will actually hold above $11,400, then it would be reasonable to open a long position with a short stop order in the expectation of the move to $12,000 once again. But the bearish scenario, when the price will go actually down once again, is like that. So here I showed this green area, and I think this would be the area where the price will stop if it will continue to drop. I don't think that we will go even to the previous low, the like more or less global one with $9,000 or $9,500, and there are plenty of reasons for that. We discussed in previous videos. Even you can look at the SOPR indicator, at least one of the standalone reasons for the fact that the correction is over, and it still behaves in the same way. Moreover, the value of indicator is going down when the price is going up, so in principle if it will go to level of 1, indicating the end of the drop, it will be even in a higher level than here. So but anyway, looking at this place, I would say that there are few reasons to stop here. First of all, we have the Bollinger Bands baseline, and actually we are still in the upper part of the Bollinger Bands. We had a chance to stay there even higher, and this chance was really reasonable, although we actually moved. Well, we discussed the reasons for that as well, but still, with the correction of the existing move, I think we must look at the baseline as the major level to bounce off from, and it is right now at $10,600 or something. Maybe we'll have a week a little bit below that. And another point is that there is a strong trend line starting from $4,000. We almost didn't break it through the whole its history, and now it is, well, if the price will go with the same pace to the downside, it will be something like $10,200. So the lowest point of my zone, which is $10,250, and the upper level is $11,000, or a little bit higher than $11,000. Another point is, if we will draw the moving averages, then 50 days moving average is also very close to this area, $10,950 right now. And finally, we have a whole zone of support. I just picked the only one level here is $10,850. So you see, there's a plenty of support here, and many people would like to buy, at least to catch the short-term bounce, which actually would have a chance to lead to a full-scale retracement to the upside, well, pull back to the upside, probably to the previous levels, and maybe will continue to rise with some corrections, as I showed you with the gold example. So considering all that, I would say that in the case of the bearish scenario, I would propose the deal, the trade with $10,960 as an aggressive entry over here. Of course, you can try to enter it later, but there is a chance that the price actually will not go there. So me personally, I would have a limit buy order on BitMEX. I posted on Telegram, $10,960 long, with a liquidation somewhere around $9,700, $9,800. So probably the price will not go here. Of course, it's always some kind of a risk, but I think in this case it's a reasonable risk-taking condition, so this is my bet at the moment. I don't know what's the probability between these two scenarios, I mean when the price will actually go up from that point or it will continue to go down, but In both cases, I just made an example of the possible trade which you can make, so feel free to do that, although of course don't forget that everything which I say is my personal opinion and not a financial advice. Alright guys, I think that is it for today. I hope that it was somehow useful. See you tomorrow and thank you for watching.